Jesse James was born on September 5, 1847 in Clay County, Missouri. Jesse came from an educated and prestigious farm family, but when his farm was attacked in 1863 by Union soldiers, a rebellion against the North was sparked within the family. At age 16, Jesse entered the Confederate Army and turned to a life of crime because of the cruel treatment received from the Union soldiers. Soon, Jesse and his brother Frank formed the James Gang and began robbing banks, trains, and stagecoaches that were owned by the Northerners. Nothing would stop them from gaining power and money. In 1864, Jesse joined a guerrilla group led by Bloody Bill Anderson. This group of outlaws terrorized pro-Union citizens of the nation. The James Gang became the most feared gang in the nation because of the amount of robberies and murders. After the war, most of the guerrilla groups died down and ended their attacks, but the James Gang did not. Jesse, Frank, and his other brothers wanted to keep fighting because they refused to accept the defeat of the Confederacy. The murders became more public and many occurred in daylight to attract the press and publicity. This caused James to become more like a feared celebrity. Jesse invented a new persona that made him seem like a hero and a noble fighter. He referred to himself as a modern Robin Hood, helping the poor through robberies and rebellions. However, there is no record of Jesse ever giving to the poor. This newfound popularity among the public caused the want for James's arrest to become more prominent in the nation, and the reward was higher than ever. The James brothers were wanted dead or alive, and the reward for each man was $5,000, equivalent to $113,000. In the early 1870s, the James Gang began to believe that they were invincible, and that they could get away with anything. But in 1876, after the attempted bank robbery in Northfield, Minnesota, the gang was downsized and only Jesse and Frank survived the uprising of the townspeople. Jesse was forced to retreat to Tennessee to avoid the authorities and those who wanted to capture him. Once James was settled, he tried to maintain his lifestyle through many money-making schemes, such as the purchase of racehorses, but he was restless and wanted to be in the spotlight again. Jesse returned to a life of crime in 1879 by forming a new gang who wanted money. But when Bob Ford, a member of the gang, went behind the gang's back and made a pact with the governor of Missouri, James's position was compromised and he was assassinated on April 3, 1882. Some people were outraged by the murder because they thought he was a hero, but others saw this event to be the end of a witch hunt.